So, tournament's almost over,
Looks like it, yeah.
at least for us. So, um, the alternative recap, we're only going to do the first half of the tournament for a specific reason. I'm going to be here all by myself at the end, and that's going to not be as interesting. It's just going to be like all the others. But um, we chose here for the game against between Tan to Alexandra Goryachkina today, which we thought was very interesting, and we sat and worked with it for 2, 3 hours, and we had some different positions that were quite interesting. We're just going to start when the game starts to get interesting, and we're not really going to go into the tactics here in the beginning. We're just going to start here because this is where the game really gets exciting. So here, for example, White could have played knight d4 and exchange and obstacle bishops and draw. Instead, she played this move, and this didn't work at all. Black took on f3, and it's not entirely clear what she had planned, but for example, rook d3, queen f5 can also go elsewhere. Queen f3 and knight d4 wins. I know you guys were saying knight d4 is very simple, and we don't need to see anything else to know that it's not working. So this was played, and then came knight d4, rook takes c8, and knight e2 check. And the white queen is undefended. Must take here. And this is the position I gave you guys to think about. And it's actually very interesting, I think. After just two moves, Black's advantage was gone. So it's very clear that White is playing for a draw, and the drawing method will be a fortress. So Black has to either get attack on the king or pass pawns.
Right.
So you thought for a long time, and we're not going to repeat all the things that were tried and didn't work.
There were a lot.
There were a lot. Maybe you can explain the logic of the move you came up with in the end. It should be said here that there are probably two winning moves. Queen b5, as suggested by Renier, is also quite strong, but we're going to focus on your move, which was?
Queen e7.
Okay, so what was your thought process that led you to this move?
So I really try to understand where is the best square for the queen and also the fastest way to also prevent f3.
So White wants to play f3 and you want to give a check.
Right.
And is there anything else you want to prevent?
Also like queen's side, like b4 and also
Yeah,
bishop c3.
b4 and bishop c3, and also that is making it very difficult. So one of the plans would be to win both these pawns.
Right.
So I tried some various things against you. So I tried bishop c3.
Yeah, now this is a very important move. f5.
Now f5 is your idea.
Yeah.
So what's your idea with f5?
That is just to push f4, f3.
So here, if Black plays f3, the king can never come over and help the pawn.
Right.
And the queen will quite quickly take back on f3. So White has to play f3.
And now, okay, there's a very nice tactic.
Yeah.
a5. Really, everything is on one tempo, yeah?
Everything is on a tempo. And if take, then we have check on a7 or on c5. Sorry, c5. So d4, we take the bishop.
Right.
Yeah. But this comes.
Yeah. Now, okay, you can
check
or check.
And here first you wanted queen a6, but here you're not winning.
Yeah, queen d3, bishop b4.
So you found a better way of doing it, which was take. And now queen a6 is winning. But then you also realized you could also go here as a total collapse. Yeah. For example, here, and d4 falls with check. Queen comes to f2, f1, and it's all over. So after this, I tried bishop d4. And here, I think we did something like this, and you had to agree to a draw. So you started thinking, and you came up with this seemed more difficult for you somehow. It was less forcing, maybe.
Yeah, more positional. So eventually we came up with a5. Just to protect the pawn.
Here, of course, White can try anything with simply just giving a sample line. So which what we thought was nice, and it was a good illustration of what we're trying to do. So you came up with queen b4, which is forcing the bishop to e3 and then attacking these 2 pawns.
Yeah, at the start we thought about queen a3 and rook e2, queen a2, but then bishop c3. That was the problem. So yeah, push the bishop to e3.
There and there and here. And here there was many ways of winning for black. You came up with a4.
Yeah.
And after takes, we have check and winning the bishop, and it's a winning game. Okay, let's because there was one more scenario which was a bit easier, I think, but still not easy. The players got it wrong, and you guys were also debating it for a bit. So okay, queen e4 was played, bishop c3. Here the computer somehow say queen e6, and there's still chances to win, but was never going to happen. Already there was a commitment here. Here, white played g3, which is a positional mistake, which again, all hangs on a tempo. H3, and the position is draw without too much trouble, but g2 is played. And then came queen e6, king f2, queen h3, king g1. Here, very good move, h5, rook takes e2, h4, and rook g2. And here we had our second movement. And here you guys managed to think quite prophylactically, and I was very happy.
Yeah. No, the thing that to understand here that actually we will manage to put h3 like no matter what.
This is what we want to do. And what does white want to do?
King f2 and bring the rook.
So then the rook will come round later. Yeah. So therefore you chose?
Queen e6.
Queen e6. And after king f2, h3, rook g1.
Queen b6.
This is the prophylactic part of it. You see here that white is not allowed to organize the pieces. And the next here was really difficult.
Yeah, no, this.
So here is to see that white is threatening g4 and rook g3. It's not easy to see at all, but if you do that, then the queen will have to defend the pawn, which can't do for an active place, and there's no way to create a pass pawn or any threats against the king.
I think it's difficult to let the rook came out of the cage, but
but you have to do it.
Yeah.
And here we have this line here. And now we can see why it was a positional mistake. To weaken on the light squares. The dark squares can be defended by the bishop. Light squares cannot. So here, again here, black would maneuver around a bit in the game to the right moment. But the whole idea is not so difficult. We need to break in, and this is best done with tempos. And here, and after winning the h-pawn, white will also win the rook in the game.
Yes.
Instead, black played queen f5, which was the other move you guys suggested. And king f2, and here, white has this g4 threat here, and it's not so easy to prevent it.
No.
And maybe it's already draw. In the game, it was even easier. Here we can see that black can never create a pass pawn, and the game was drawn. And here they agreed to draw. So I say the tournament is over. The predictions of Claude is now that Sindaro has 2/3 chance of winning, while the leader in the women's section, Mushachuk, has 1/3 chance of winning, which is a very different thing. So the tournament is not over, but 2/3 chance is not over at all.
No.
And a lot can happen tomorrow, though we all predict that nothing will happen tomorrow.
We hope.
Good. Thank you very much.